Hi, my name is KMatysuk, and today I will be presenting my reflection for the course Application of Business Analytics for the UNCW Master's Program in Business Analytics. I will be focusing on one key point in the group assignment that we were tasked with Sandbar Oyster Company. A common problem for a small business is the lack of consistent documentation of production, labor, and material cost. The constantly moving nature of a small company with big ideas can result in the focus being on making sure that the jobs are done, not necessarily that they are the most productive or the most profitable. So I want to present the tool and guidance that we created to provide managerial insight into production, labor, and material costs. To ensure that the pricing structure is set up for success, a deep analysis of fixed and variable costs was conducted. Fixed and variable costs both affect the bottom line and should be incorporated into invoicing. As a small business, small changes in cost control can dramatically impact the financial stability of the company, and costs should be reevaluated consistently with the changing environment. So the first thing that we did is we reviewed invoices, projection sheets, and the profit and loss statements to determine each category that needed to be tracked. The fixed costs for the company that we determined were rent, utilities, and insurance. Those are going to happen no matter what the production is. The two biggest variable costs, or things that can change depending on how much work we have, were labor and material costs. For material costs, there were a few different components that go into making all of the products. These materials were jute, cement, hydrated lime, and fiberglass. And then we would take a combination of all of those materials and we would make our products, which were tables, pillows, HD pillows, mats, and pilling cups. So what we did is we created a tool to help track everything that was going on. I'm going to show you the tool here in a second, but we did create an Excel tool that was used to organize the labor costs and the variable costs. Several tabs were created to track the different components of each product and the cost of each. That way, when costs change, they're easily adjustable. Several formulas were used to connect the different tabs of data, and this makes changes in the future easy to incorporate in the changing times. So this is at the fifth tab out of the six that we created. And this one actually goes into all the different components, all the different ingredients that go into making a product and how much each product needs, and then how much cost is associated with that. So our first item was the table, and it needed jute, cement, lime, and fiberglass. And we estimated that it's about 9.6 quantity of jute, and then 5 of cement, 1.5 of hydrated lime, and 1 of fiberglass. And then we have the costs associated with that, and then the total material costs. So as these prices change, you can go in and just make adjustments to this. That way all the rest of the formulas work. And as you can see, we did that to all of the different items. So this is going to help with tracking in the future. And then once we have all that data, the other big part of this is the labor costs, because that goes into our overall cost as well. So for a table, based on all the information we were provided, we estimated that it's going to take a full-time person 3.43 hours to make one table. So with all these that are gray are adjustable. So you can go ahead and decide in the future, we want to do 2 part-timers instead of a full-timer, and you can just take and divide out the numbers for the future. So the business impact on this, that by incorporating a robust tracking system, management's going to have a clear insight to any changes that need to be made. Increases in material or labor costs can easily be seen and adjustments made if needed. And having a tracking system for material and labor costs will enable decisions about bulk buying. So if you find that you are using a whole bunch of cement, or you can really see what materials you're using the most of, and then you'll know which ones you need to buy in bulk versus which ones you don't use all that often. So by tracking it, we're going to be able to make some of those decisions and maybe even do some price negotiating if we have to buy a big bulk item. So my recommendation is that you start using the tracking tool provided to monitor production, labor, and material costs. Having the knowledge to make decisions in the future is really integral. You need to adjust prices. It would be a good idea to adjust prices as needed to ensure profitability and financial stability, and add full and part-time labor as needed to ensure production is met, and using the tool provided. Thank you and have a great day.